Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Konexio Technical Insights. I am Rahul Randeria and I would be conducting today's show. Today, we would be discussing regarding the trends, the setups, the technical indicators, the charts, and candlestick patterns on Nifty and Bank Nifty. Now, let us discuss what has happened in the last week, and we'll try to figure out what are the probabilities of market, and what are the probabilities of the clear trend of the market in the next coming week and coming months. So definitely, last week was a monthly expiry, and throughout the week we have seen that markets was highly volatile. On the initial days, I mean to say on Monday, it went down, and then from the next day, it started slowly and gradually rallying, and then we saw a sharp short covering for last 2 days, and Nifty ended on a positive note. But most probably, what we have seen on the daily charts, we will try to see what is figuring out on the daily and weekly charts of the Nifty, and we'll try to project or we'll try to analyze what could be the trend for the next week. Now let us go to the Nifty daily charts. Now this is the Nifty daily charts. Now what we can see, if you can see this last 3 week, whole 3 week Nifty has been stuck in a particular range of 16,415 on the upside, and on the downside the major multiple support area, I mean to say, it was a triple bottom around 15,739, then 15,740 and 15,735. This was the triple bottom seen on the Nifty, and it has ended on a positive note. So after almost 3 weeks of struggle, Nifty is trying to move out of the woods. Still, the breakout is yet to happen. So decisive point would be 16,415. This is the daily charts. You can see this RSI. RSI is also showing some sort of positive divergence. Nifty was making lower tops. Now here RSI is making higher tops. Now let us try to figure out what we have seen on the Nifty weekly charts. On the Nifty weekly charts, you can see the last 3 week Nifty has been moving into this particular range: a bearish candle, then a bullish candle, then a hammer. If uh, we see Nifty breaking this 16,415 mark on the upside, then we might see a rally, a most decisive rally coming for the next 3 to 4 months. So now, if we see last 2 weeks prior to past week has been a struggling week, and then we have seen that Nifty is poised for a breakout. Now let me again go to the daily charts, and we'll try to figure out the larger trend, larger possible trend, which could be seen in the next 3 to 4 months. So this is the particular trend line which we have seen from last 7 months. Now this was the top of October 2021, 19th October. Now what we have seen that Nifty has been into a time correction since last 7 months. Almost we have seen 15% correction from its high. FII has also sold almost more than 160 to 180 lakh crore in this last 7 to 8 months. Now, after this particular trend line, what we have seen in this Nifty daily charts, what we can project or what we can try to figure out is that if we see a breakout in the next week and Nifty sustains about 16,450, then again in the next 4 months, there are very strong chances of Nifty testing the levels of 18,000 mark till maybe in October or September, October, till September to October. So most probably the trend is positive. Nifty is moving into a particular broad range. If you let me give you a clear picture, what could be the broad range? Now this is a broad range. Now you can clearly see that Nifty has been moving in this particular downward falling channel. So most probably the chances of Nifty to test 18,000 are very strong. If Nifty breaks 16,415, if it sustains at least for 2 weeks, then we will see a decisive rally till 18,000 in the next 4 months. So we are bullish at these levels. The strategy for the next week would be buy on dips in Nifty. Again, the trend of the markets are also seems to be turning positive from these levels. Now let me discuss Bank Nifty. In Bank Nifty also, we have seen a similar kind of falling channel pattern. Again, Bank Nifty has been moving in that particular downward falling channel, and again it is trying to test its this resistance trend line. So most probably, Bank Nifty also has a potential to test this particular upward resistance trend line. Now this is the downward falling channel. Now again from these levels, Bank Nifty has potential to test the levels of 38,000 in next 3 to 4 months. Again we have seen, now looking at comparing the last two charts, we have seen that Bank Nifty has been outperforming the Nifty because Bank Nifty has already given a breakout of this particular range break. You can see this particular triangle breakout, or you can call this inverse head and shoulder breakout. So Bank Nifty has outperformed Nifty, and this similar kind of move can be expected in Nifty also. But in the last four trading sessions, we have seen Nifty also have rallied. So maybe we have some sort of profit booking can be seen if there is a gap up on Monday. Some sort of profit booking can be seen. Then we might see a dip on the downside, and from those levels we might see extension of rally. So again, looking at these two charts, Nifty and Bank Nifty, overall trend seems to be positive. In next 4 months, we might see a decisive rally from these levels. So these are the good signs for the market. Now let me discuss two more important index, particular sectoral index chart. First, I would like to discuss on Nifty IT stock, IT index. Nifty IT index, if you can see, it has made a high of almost 39,000, and it has almost corrected till 27,400 mark. So on monthly basis, if we see, it has seen a severe damage in the last 5 months. Almost we can see that from these particular highs of 40,000 odd mark till 28,000, almost you can see that it has corrected more than 25 to 30% of, almost most probably between 25 to 30% of index correction. So it is into oversold territory. You can see this was an head and shoulder. It broke down. It has taken a support. This was the prior resistance area. Let me put a horizontal line so you will have a clear view that this was the resistance line earlier. Now it has become a support. So now most probably from this level, IT index might bottom out. So for long-term investors, IT stocks should be on their radar for long-term investment. So most probably Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL Tech, these are the leaders. One can start accumulating for long-term investment. So maybe in next 12 months, IT index currently it is quoting around 28,641. It has potential to test the level of 34,000 in next 12 months. I'm not saying that it will give a V-shaped recovery. It might go into some kind of this consolidation mark for next maybe couple of weeks or couple of months, and then we might see a rally. But there might be stock specific action in IT sector. So definitely these four stocks which I've discussed, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL Tech, should be kept on the radar for long-term investors. So long-term investors can start chipping in, or start accumulating the stock for long-term investments. So this was the index call on CNX IT. Now let us go to Nifty metals. In Nifty metal index also, you have seen that it has also corrected a decent from the decent levels of 6,840 till 52, almost 5,000 mark. So again, this has also corrected almost 20% from those particular highs. Now you can see it has come into that particular congestion range. Now, if we look at the overall chart of metal index, this was the breakout of 4,300. It went up to 6,800. Again, it has corrected till 5,000. So this is a pullback. of this long consolidation of maybe almost 10 years of consolidation, a breakout and a pullback. So now we might see for the next 3 to 5 years, we might see a very big rally in metal index also. So most probably for long-term investors, I would recommend to start chipping in into the metal stock. Most probably TC, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Jindal Steel and Power, so on and so forth. So these are the three stocks which I would recommend long-term investors to start accumulating for long term. Long term means I'm not talking about only just 12 months, but those who have an investment horizon of maybe 4 years, 5 years. Because yes, government has taken step for containing the inflation for in the metal sectors of imposing duties to contain the inflation. But what I would like to say that the infrastructure projects are going to be continued. Real estate development is going to be continued. Manufacturing of cars and motorbikes are going to be continued. So these are the sectors which are going to be for long lasting, and demand for steel is going to be there. So definitely, even though for the short term we might see this taxes or imposing duties on this particular sector, but for long run, as I said, these industries which consume more steels are going to be last. The demand would be there. So looking at this pattern, we feel that we might see a next rally in metal index in next 3 to 4 years. So again, for long term investors, metal stocks and IT stocks are should be there in their portfolio for long term investors. So now let us discuss the important support and resistance in Nifty for the next week. So let me discuss the important support I have noted down. The important support in the Nifty for the next week is placed at 16,222 is the first support. Second support is around 16,129, and third support is around 15,903. Whereas on the upside, the first resistance is around 16,415, which is the breakout point. Second resistance is around 16,555, and third resistance is around 16,682 in Nifty. Whereas in the Bank Nifty, the crucial support for the next week are placed at 35,291 is the first support. Second support in the Bank Nifty is placed at 34,797, and the third support in the next for the Bank Nifty is 34,285. On the upside, the first resistance in the Bank Nifty is placed at 35,934. Second resistance is placed at 36,309, and third resistance is placed at 36,718. So most probably, as we discussed, the charts are positive. The trend is turning positive from bearish to bullish. In next 4 months, we might see a decent rally in the Nifty. So the strategy for at least for the next week would be buy on dips. Already on the lower degree chart, some sort of ore we have seen ores bot setup on the week on the hourly charts. We might see some sort of profit booking coming in on Monday after a gap up opening, but that profit booking should be used as a buying opportunity. On the downside, I would most probably comfortable buying in Nifty around 16,000 to 16,100 mark. So this would be the area where I would be comfortable to enter long at the lower levels. Now let us come to the third segment of our show, which is option analysis. In option analysis, we will try to figure out what we have observed in Nifty calls and Nifty puts. We'll try to figure out where is the open interest built up in this particular calls and puts of Nifty and Bank Nifty. So now let us see what we have observed in Nifty calls. On the screen, you will see in Nifty calls, the action was seen in 16,400 calls, then 16,500 calls, then 16,600 calls, then 16,700 calls. Now here you can see there was a rise in the open interest. There was slightly rise in the option premium. Implied volatility is in comfortable zone between 15.93 to 16.27. So in the last 2 days, I mean to say Friday was the first day of the June expiry, June series. That was the first day. So definitely some sort of strong build-up was seen but looking at the charts, it was into overbought territory. So we might see some sort of profit booking coming in the first half of Monday. So in Nifty calls, we might see some sort of profit booking coming on Monday, and then after settling at the lower levels, we might see extension of a rally. So Nifty options seems to be quite decent at these levels. And let us see what we have observed in Nifty puts. In Nifty puts, the action was seen in 16,300 puts, then 16,200 puts, then 16,100 puts, and 16,000 puts. Now here also you can see there has been a rise in the open interest. The volumes are also on the rise. Implied volatility is also rising. Now you can see there has been a strong writing of Nifty puts, which clearly indicates that the undertone of the market is very bullish. The smart money has started writing Nifty puts, which has forced Nifty or pulled Nifty on the upside. So you can see there has been a significant drop in the option premium. Implied volatility is rising. It is just between 20.39 to 21.73. But as I said, the charts are showing some sort of overbought setup in on the hourly charts. So maybe on Monday we might see some sort of profit booking coming in after a gap up opening. So one needs to be a little cautious, wait for some dip, and then try to enter long at the lower levels. Now let us see what we have observed in Bank Nifty calls. In Bank Nifty calls, the action was seen in 35,800 calls, then 36,000 calls, 36,500 calls, and 37,000 calls. Now here you can see there has been a rise in the open interest. Implied volatility is also rising. Volumes are also rising, and option premiums are also rising. Because we have seen, as I said, that Bank Nifty has outperformed Nifty. In Bank Nifty, we have already seen a breakout, whereas yet we have to see a breakout in Nifty. So that is the reason why we have seen a very sharp rise in the option premium in Bank Nifty. But as I said, in Bank Nifty also the setup is into overbought region. So we might see some sort of profit booking coming in at the higher levels, and implied volatility is showing that this is the implied volatility is entering into some sort of danger zone. So we might see profit booking coming on Monday. Now let us see what we have observed in Bank Nifty puts. In Bank Nifty puts, the action was seen in 35,500 calls. Puts, then 35,300 puts, then 35,000 puts, and 34,500 puts. Now here you can see there has been a significant drop in the option premium. There has been a significant rise in the implied volatility, which is between 25.47 to 27.36, and there has been a sharp rise in the volumes also. Now here, as I said, Bank Nifty has outperformed Nifty. Smart money has done strong put writings in Bank Nifty, which was the reason why we have seen a sharp rally in Bank Nifty. But as I said, the implied volatility here has entered into a danger zone. So as I said, on Monday we might see profit booking coming into the markets. So one need to be cautious. Those who are long should try to book profits at the higher levels, should not try and jump into the running trade. Wait for some correction and then enter long at the lower levels. So the strategy, looking at the charts of Nifty and Bank Nifty and option data analysis, we feel the strategy should be buy on dips. One should wait for a correction in the Nifty and Bank Nifty and then enter long at the lower levels. So friends, now let us come to the final segment of our show, which is positional call. In positional call, I identify one stock from IT sector, which we have discussed earlier, the IT index. So most probably, the stock which I have identified is TCS, which is showing oversold setup. This is TCS. Let me put an indicator. This is RSI. You can see prices are dropping down. RSI is showing a positive uh, signal from the oversold territory. Now let me show what was the trend, what is the setup seen in TCS. It is almost a kind of a triangle from these levels. So most probably when TCS is making around a bottom, it has formed a triangle formation. here is a clear view. Now, this region was a major resistance area where it took multiple times, three times, and almost 6 months to break. Now it has become a support zone. This congestion you can clearly see. Let me put a horizontal line so you will have a clear view. Now this congestion zone has become a support. RSI is positive. This is coming into multiple support zone. Triangle, multiple support levels into downward falling. This triangle support trend line. Now long-term investors can accumulate the stock in the range of 3261 and on corrections to 3200 for an upside target of 3650 to 3670 in the long run. So definitely, as I discussed, Nifty, CNX Nifty IT index, it is into oversold setup. Already it has corrected more than almost 25%, and again TCS has also corrected after the buyback. So now it is the right time to accumulate TCS for the long term investment from these levels. So long term investors can accumulate the stock in the range of 3261 to 3200 for an upside target of 3650 in the long run. So this was the stock. I'm sorry that today's video has extended a little bit, but some important data has to be discussed, so it took some more time. I'm sorry for that. Any suggestion you can give into comment box, and have a nice trading week. Thank you.